Dr. Sleep came out in theaters this past weekend, so now it's time to talk Simply Cinema. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a cinematastic day. I'm Josh, this is Simply Cinema, and before I get into my thoughts, I'd love to hear yours down in comments below. What did you think of this film? How did it relate to the 1980s Stanley Kubrick's The Shining? And if you're new here, Simply Cinema is a channel where we talk movies, TV shows, and more, so if you're into that, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And also, after this video, be sure to check out my review on The Shining if you missed it, to let you know what my thoughts were on that one as well. Dr. Sleep is a direct sequel to Stanley Kubrick's The Shining from 1980 and goes over the story of Danny Torrance as he's going through a struggle of alcoholism and just trying to find a normal, peaceful life. But all that changes when he finds Abra, who also seems to have the same gift of the shine within her. And meanwhile, this cult called the True Knot that feeds off the shine that's found within those members, and Abra and Danny have to team up and fight off them. Starting with the positives, what I really like about this movie is while it does offer some nostalgic moments, different Easter eggs, and references found throughout the film, I never felt like it really overplayed those moments in the sense where it tried to take too much from the original Stanley Kubrick's film of The Shining, and it was still its own film with its own ideas and its own storyline that worked well as a sequel in correspondence to The Shining, and it took that and delivered in a good way that lives up to what it's trying to be. Going into this, when I didn't know exactly where they were going with it, I was really impressed with the concept and ideas that were expressed, and it was explained in a way that set up all the rules so you understand everything that goes on within the story. And the characters involved were really good, as well as the cast, making Ewan McGregor as Danny Torrance, and he delivered in a way that really felt like it was sort of a grown-up version of him. And Abra was a really good character as well that made you really care for what might happen to her. And also the villains involved had this unique sort of plot device that delivered well, and they performed their roles just as well. And having Rebecca Fergueson as the lead role did her job especially well. And overall, as they had Stephen King help without the novel adapting it into the movie, they did really express what they were trying to portray into the movie really well, and that's what makes me really just enjoy this film. Moving on to the negatives, there's some little scenes throughout, and this is partially because it's a Stephen King novel, where you get all of these extra little things that help explain the rules, and while that's not entirely bad within itself and help me understand, it still felt a little unnecessary, while some of the scenes felt like they didn't need to be shown less than explained already. And some of the things, especially with one of the villains at the beginning, not naming names for spoilers, but one of the villains were shown how they sort of transformed into that villain and had the development, but the development wasn't as big that needed to be shown, and the full explanation just led to a character that mixed in with the rest of the villain and didn't really stand out as a lead character as I sort of perceived her to be when they introduced her in this way at the beginning. And although the movie and the story is satisfying as a whole, there were some little parts where it doesn't feel like it should have went in that sort of manner, and you sort of expect something else out of it, so it wasn't quite as satisfying in certain moments that I really wanted to get something else out of it. And those were just my thoughts on Dr. Sleep, and I'd love to hear yours down in comments below. Let me know what you think of this film. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it a satisfying sequel to The Shining from Stanley Kubrick? And those were just my thoughts, and I'd like you to hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you're new here. And be sure to check out my review on Stanley Kubrick's Dr. Sleep to get my perspective on that film, as well as a video YouTube suggests specifically for you. And I hope you have enjoyed that, and I'll be back for more movie reviews, rankings, and more.